Morning everyone, how's everyone doing? I think you've had a good start to your Saturday. I'm going to be real right now, I'm in pain. Arms are aching, my abs kill, my back hurts, neck hurts a bit. Did a bit of sparring on Thursday, so it's like, I haven't sparring like 2 months. So yeah, I've kind of, to get back straight into sparring and do that intense boxing training again. I did a bit of training on there, but not full blown like I did at the boxing club, you know what I mean? So I did a bit of sparring, did shadow boxing, did some cardio. We did 4 rounds of sparring, 3 minutes each round. I did alright for the first 3 rounds. 4th round I was fucked. So I got beat around a bit, as you do. I'm tired, need to get my fitness back up, but yeah. Yeah guys, get straight into it now. Just want to do a video about a guy called Lightning Lee Murray. Ex-MMA fighter, fought once in the UFC. Dana White said he was the scariest fighter he's ever spoke to, ever had in the UFC. Not just because he was the way he fought, but as his life outside of the fight game. He was a criminal, you know. He kind of he had a sort of like gang / crew running around with him around in London. He's English / Moroccan. His dad was a Moroccan dude. I think his dad was quite violent with drink. His mum was an English lady. He had the hard life, you know. Didn't have much to him, wasn't brought up with much. Had to find his own way, sort of thing, with his mates and make their own money, shifting drugs and doing street fights all the time, you know. But the drug game paid off big for him. He got well known in the drug game. A lot of people feared him. He's just 6'1", ripped, big dude. You know, he's got that look. He's got the look in the eyes. You can see he's been through a lot. No fear. But don't get twisted, guys. You know, he wasn't a dickhead enough, and he generally was a humble man, proper family man, loyal to his mates, loyal to his family. You know, a nice bloke. You know, if you didn't mess with him, he wouldn't mess with you, sort of thing. You know, so. But you know, he could fight, and that's what he was good at. So that's when he took his skills to the MMA gym. He said, "Why not go legit with it?" You know, see how far he could go with the fight game. A lot of coaches speak highly of him as well. Pat spoke highly of him in his documentary as well. Guys, go watch that. Catching Lightning, it's called, about Lee Murray. Obviously, it's really good. It shows like voice recordings of Lee talking about his involvement in crime and why he's currently in the Moroccan prison. I won't get into why he's there yet, guys. So start from the beginning, shall we, instead of jump the gun. Yeah, you know. 2 seconds, guys, just fill this up. Why not? Some drink. But one of these classy joggers, one of these small bottles is a shot. I think this is a shot glass anyway. Don't know. God, it's fucking lovely. But yeah, guys, Lee Murray. That's the topic today. I want to start doing more videos about fighters' lives, the old school fighters. And I want to talk about Jack Dempsey. I just want to talk about just any sort of fighter, really, mate. Any sort of fighter. Any fighters you guys got suggestions for me to check out. I don't care if they're bare knuckle, gypsy fighters, MMA fighters, karate, boxing, no rules fighters, anything, any sort of fighters, any old school fighters. The old school boys were the best. Believe me now, if Lee Murray hadn't been in prison for so long, he would have gone far in fighting. That's why he got signed to the UFC. It's a pretty cool story where there was Lee Murray, Chuck Liddell, a load of coaches, loads of fighters were there. They're all they went on a night out in a nightclub in London. Blah, blah, had a good night, everything. Lee got them all in. Lee knew all the bouncers. He got them in the VIP section. Got free drinks all night. He was looking after all the fighters. He's kind of showing off what he's about, how respected he is in London, and all this sort of stuff. Everyone's having a good night. Everyone got a bit drunk, had a few drinks. They went outside. From what I hear from the story, from the documentary, if I remember correctly, one of Tito was there, Tito Ortiz. One of his mates were there, and they jumped on one of the coach's back and he was pretending to get him in a headlock. And apparently, so this guy was in the headlock, was one of Lee's guys, and Lee and everyone else thought, man, this is serious. Like they didn't realize it was jail. Obviously, you had a few beers. If you fuck me, he's been choked out. So one of the guys running there punched a guy, and it apparently just goes into an all-out brawl down just outside this nightclub in this little lane. And apparently it's an all-out brawl, and they're all just fucking scrapping. Chuck Liddell's confirmed this himself. He said Lee actually dropped, and the coach said that Lee dropped Tito Ortiz. Apparently Tito Ortiz looked at Lee, because Lee and Tito Ortiz had a beef anyway, because Lee's first UFC fight, when he beat the guy he beat, this seasoned veteran, by submission in armbar, when he beat him, he called out Tito, and Tito was in the crowd like, yeah, fuck, whatever, you ain't gonna do nothing. Lee was like, I'll fight anybody, I don't care what you've done, who you are, I want Tito Ortiz next. If he wants to chat shit about me, let's go, let's make the fight. So they already had beef anyway, so Tito Ortiz seen him tunnel vision in this lane, runs up to Lee. Lee apparently just apparently it's according to Tito, whether it's true or not, everyone said he lies, but this is Tito's story. Apparently Tito slid because he had dress shoes on. He slid towards Lee, and Lee just went bam, bam, bam. Landed like 5 or 6 shots at him, quick as anything. Dropped Tito. Some say Tito was out cold, and some say Tito actually dropped, bit stunned, got back up, and then apparently they got broken up or something like that, whatever it was. And Chuck Liddell, apparently, I think, if I remember, it was he knocked out 5 or 6 guys in a row, and that's been confirmed as well. The guys ran to bang, 2, 3, they was dropping like flies. Obviously, Chuck Liddell, we all know he can fight, we all know he can punch. So Lee had him with him, you know what I mean? So the pounds on whiteboard, that was a pretty cool story, I thought, of Lee. It's a shame that fight with Lee and Tito Ortiz never actually happened in the octagon, because that would have been a very, very big fight. So we never got to see that, guys. But but the thing is as well, Lee wanted to stay legit. He wanted to be an MMA fighter, but he kind of kept getting stuck in the life of crime as well, because certain things led up to that. There's also a story as well. I think he got. I don't think, I know for a fact he got stabbed 4 times outside a nightclub as well. One time, I think this nightclub is also in London. He got stabbed 4 times, punctured lung. Artery cut, he got stabbed in the chest. There's a picture of him, all the scars, you can see it, and it deflates. He went from being ripped and in really good condition, looking sharp, to it weakened him, nearly dying. Literally, it drew the life out of him. Do you know what I mean? So that made him weaker. So obviously he couldn't fight at that current time. He died multiple times as well on the operating table. They resuscitated him, managed to bring him back alive. So he survived that. I think he lost his visa as well to fight abroad, so he couldn't fight in the UFC as well, which also was a big setback for him. He couldn't fight any big fights to get that big money, because I think he had a fight. I think it was on Christmas Day he had a fight. Someone started on Lee and his family when they were on their way to Lee's family for Christmas dinner and a family day out, and this guy started on Lee. Lee was defending him and his family. It was complete self-defense. Lee knocked them out. Lee got fucking charged or whatever with it, and they said, you can't fight abroad anymore, we've taken your visa, or whatever it was. I can't remember the full story of it, guys. That was a big setback for Lee. So all these setbacks that Lee started having, it kind of sucked him back into the criminal life, because he wasn't able to do the fighting he wanted to do. He wasn't able to focus on his dream. I mean, he probably regrets doing the crime he did now, obviously, for how long he served in prison, but at the time you're thinking, I need to survive, I want to provide for my family, and being a man, that's what you do. You do what you got to do to survive, don't you? Yeah, the big one, the biggest setback for all of them and for Lee was when they robbed the depot. It was a bank depot. I can't remember what the depot was called now. It's basically a depot where they store loads of money, millions of pounds. It was in Kent. It was the biggest bank robbery in England and in the world at the current time. They stole 53 million, just over 53 million between them. I think there was 5 of them in on it, Lee being one of them. They called him Mr. Stopwatch because he had the stopwatch in there. He was the guy with the stopwatch. Obviously, he was all masked up. So yeah, they robbed that, guys. They actually got away with it. It was planned out very carefully. It was very smart how they done it. They had the bank manager under their thumb. They managed to get him to open the gates for them and stuff. I'm pretty sure they had all sorts of things put out in place for them, you know what I mean? Cameras. They had a guy even go in there and pretend to be a worker, so he could see where all the cameras were to, and to see what the rooms were and where the money was kept. It's just taking everything in that building. It was really well thought out, guys. They even had a woman make them fake masks and beards and makeup to make them like totally different people. They had masks underneath, but so they can never fully get caught. I think the only reason they actually did get caught in the end was because the police went to the, I can't remember what it was now actually. They found out they had masks or something. The police went to the woman that made the masks for them, and they checked their bins. If they hadn't checked their bins, they never would have caught them. They checked their bins and they found all these pieces of makeup and fake skin and stuff, and the DNA was on it. Lee's DNA was it, Paul's, Alan's DNA on it. I can't remember the names of the other guys, but their DNAs were on it. So everyone was fucked basically. You know what I mean? And their names on it as well on the tubs, the makeup tubs, saying, "Oh yeah, this is for Lee Murray's design. This is Paul Allen's design." So that was the fucking. But by that time, Lee and Paul Allen already fled to Morocco. So Lee wanted to go to Morocco for whatever reason. He's half Moroccan anyway. I think the reason he went there was, I think he believed if he went there, he wouldn't be able to be touched by the UK, because sometimes if you do a crime and you move to a certain country, the police can't go to that country and say, "Oh yeah, we're taking you because you're on their land, their turf now." So it's up to the Moroccan police and Moroccan King, to arrest Lee. And if they don't want to do that, then there's nothing the UK can do because he's there. And Lee ended up getting a citizenship as well whilst he was over there, which was a downfall because that made him get stuck in a Moroccan prison, which is 10 times worse than probably the UK prisons. So they got caught in the end. Police found out. UK found out. They fled. They knew that they were the targets. Rumours were already on the street anyway that Lee was involved and his mates were involved because they were such a big name. Like I said, they were respected. They were feared. They were, they ran the game around there. They were the top dogs. So yeah, the police ended up and the government ended up speaking to the Moroccan King and government or whatever, and they said, "Look, they've done this, they've done that. Lee needs to be arrested. He's living in your country." At first, they actually weren't keen on arrest. They actually weren't bothered, and then I think they showed the video. There's video footage in the depot of the heist where they're actually putting people in the cages. They put all the work. They didn't harm the workers. No one was harmed, by the way. No one was killed. Nothing. They just put the workers in the cage so they couldn't run off and get the police or anything. And that's when the Moroccan was like, "Okay, we don't like this. People treat like animals in a cage. We're actually going to make an arrest for Lee and Paul." And they ended up arresting Paul and Lee and Paul. Sorry, they were living like kings in the meantime. They fled their kids and girlfriends out as well. They both bought nice mansions. There's pictures of Lee's mansion in Morocco. He had the nice cars. Him and his missus were buying the watches. They'd go on family days out. They could go for any meal. They could do anything they wanted. They had all the money in the world now. Do you know what I mean? They were living that high life. Lee did that by doing, robbing the bank and providing for his family and everything. You know what I mean? So he was living a good life, but it all come to them obviously when they got arrested. Lee was actually, Paul Allen was sent back to the UK because he didn't have a citizenship. He did like 9 years or something like that. He's actually already out of prison. Don't know what's going on with him. Lee, everyone was involved in that heist is already out, but Lee's still in a Moroccan prison right now doing solitary confinement, which is the most brutal form of sentence you can get, especially in a Moroccan prison, which I've heard is brutal. He's currently served 17 years. He's 45 years old. His dreams were to get out of prison and continue fighting and getting back into the UFC. He would have gone far if he was still fighting. He would have got a title. I believe now, if he could go back time, he probably would have and just kept him fighting and wait till he got his visa back and just did more fights in UFC, because it was inevitable he was going to be a star. Go watch his videos, guys. Go watch documentaries. Go watch his fights. I think he had 12 fights, most of them by knockout. He only lost one fight against Anderson Silva, who was a legend in the fight game, by the way. Anderson Silva was in his prime back then, so he was something knocking out everyone. Lee went the full distance with him, all rounds. So you've got to respect that. That says it all about Lee, doesn't it? He went full distance with Prime Anderson. He beat a guy called Pele, I think he's called Pele. He was a recognisable fighter. He knocked him out cold in England. Crowd went mental. But yeah, Lee was a really good fighter. He was destined to go far. He had the skill, he had the talent. He had that thing about him. In his walkthroughs, he used to have this orange jumpsuit with this like dog mask thing. So he like he was I'm going to buy everyone, I'm going to go mental. But that was his walkthrough into the cage. It was pretty cool. It suited his style, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a sad story really, because he served so much time in prison and lost so much time away from his wife the fight game, his family, it's just crap. You know what I mean? He served way too much longer. You know, the king right now of Morocco, he's pardoning people that are terrorists and rapists. You know what I mean? They should be serving life in prison, not someone like Lee who robbed the government. The government deserved to be, the Bank of England deserved to be robbed because they rob us all the time with taxes and stuff. So he done us all a favour. So yeah, I hope Lee gets out soon. I know their family are working hard to try and get Lee pardoned so he can leave the prison. If he does get out, will he return to fight at 45? Maybe, depends what shape he's in. He might be really good shape, but he probably is keeping in shape. Lee has that mindset, strong mindset, and there's probably nothing stopping him from fighting when he comes out. But let's hope he comes out very soon so we can see him back in the cage. If not, he says either way he wants to be a coach and get the title in the end. Coaching someone, either way he wants to be involved in fighting sports. Do you know what I mean? So when he comes out, he's gonna be a big star straight away. Loads of fighters know him. Everyone knows him. For those of you who don't, like I said, go watch his fights. Watch documentaries about his life. It's really interesting, guys. And yeah, I think I've covered some of it, guys. Like I said, I couldn't cover everything. This video would be hours on end about his life. He did one hell of a life, and nothing but respect. So thank you guys for watching. If you have any more suggestions for people you want me to talk about, fighters or any of their lives or anything like that, I know we could talk about multiple things on this YouTube channel, guys. Conspiracy theories, government, politics, any other sports, all that stuff. But I do preferably want to keep this a fighting channel, somewhere where people can just come out, chill out, have coffee, have a drink, have a cigar, whatever you want to do, mate. Just chill out and just enjoy the video. You know what I mean? Just enjoy talking about fighting. You know what I mean? So I just want a place to be chilled. I don't want to bring up the crazy stuff going on in the world into this. So if you have any suggestions, guys, just let me know in the comments, and or any stories, anything like that, just let me know in it. And I appreciate you all. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Yeah, cheers.